Okay, welcome to the second training session with IrisBG, where we're going to carry on with what we've titled intermediate topics, so it's slightly more advanced. Before we start, I suppose we could do a quick sort of recap from yesterday or from the last session. I'm just going to go back to these. So last time we went through first the terminology, the terms used in IrisBG and some of the basics on how things work. We then we learned how to navigate and how to do some basic things like searching, and also going over to advanced search. And then we had a few examples where we learned how to add and update records. We tried different types of places in Iris. There's sort of three types of screens, and you will see in Iris. So we walked through them, and then we also had time to look at how to produce reports and maps. And finally, we also mentioned the how to get help, with directly from Iris, and also what you have available online. One thing we didn't mention, which I should mention now, is that we also have a webinar every Thursday of the month, first Thursday of the month. And if you don't have time to come and look at them, you could go to our YouTube channel. I'm just going to show you that. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have all the webinar recordings are here, so you can go and look at them after the fact. And we're started now to also have them topical, so there's topics for each webinar. People are free to ask any questions, obviously, but we try to have a topic that we focus on, so that people, so it's easier to look at these webinar recordings if you're interested in a specific topic. Okay, great. So let's hide that one again. So do you have any questions from last time, from the last session?
Okay, one moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last section, we was study about the updating on accession and exercise, and another one is to add a second item.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how to get help. Is it? And then also we study about recording a new session exercise and using reports and maps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I need some explanation about the using reports and maps.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want me to? So what are you wondering about?
Okay. Number one is accession catalog. Is it? Yeah. And then item status type and family. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second step is item data. And begins with like a genus name.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then third step is item map, item location, code, begin with the. So I want the third one. Item map.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you explain again about the item map?
Oh yeah, I'll do that. So I can show you. So so you can see the screen now in front of you?
Yeah, I can see.
Great. Okay, so I've logged into the same trial version we had last time, and you see here under reports, we have reports, and then we have maps.
Okay.
So if I click on maps, you will see that it works on the same principle as reports. You can open a segment and select what you want to show.
Okay.
For maps, there are two types of maps. There are global maps. So these are maps of where you have collected plant material. So you record when we will do that later today to record information about wild collected material. So you can then show a map of, for example, where you have collected a certain species or something.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Like in the garden, in Penang Botanical Garden, the trees are very, the distance of the trees are very near. So if we go for the maps, so we couldn't find the exact tree in the maps because they are very dense. So what we can do?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you are using, so let's just finish the exercise. I'll first. So just to do the question first. So you asked. So the exercise here is what to do the map with a filter ARB. So so I'm just going to go here and say item location code begins with ARB. So now this map will show you the plants in the garden, by the way.
Yeah.
And this one will show you the areas in the garden. And the final one, item history map, is a really great little thing where you can look at what you have had in the garden at a certain point in time going back. So you can search for, what kind of type of plants did you have in a certain area, let's say 2 years ago.
Okay.
So that's a very cool thing. So, but let's do this one first. If I click on this one now, I should get a map. 2 seconds. I'm going to bring it up for you. Here we go. So here you got the map. And you will see that the yellow markers, they are plants. And the red markers, they are areas. So there are some plants that doesn't have exact coordinates. So we don't.
Yeah.
That's so then we get these red ones, and that means that there are one or more plants in that area that fitted what you searched for. We searched for everything in the location ARB. If we searched for, let's say, all the rhododendrons or something, we would get a different map. But then you might get some red markers there as well.
The ARB represent the location inside the garden for this trail. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. In this garden, they've used one specific location to signify the arboretum. So they have organized their garden a bit unconventionally, that they say that all the trees are sort of spread out all over the garden, and then they have called that a location called arboretum, so that they can easily find them, even though they're in different areas of the garden. So that's a bit unusual, but anyway. And then I can click on one of these markers to.
So the yellow markers is represent one trees, or it could be one plum or anything.
One item, yeah. I mean, you could.
One item.
Because you could say this is one ginkgo biloba, but there's two of them planted together, for example. You could have had two, but then it would just be one marker. But yes, it's one item. Yeah. But when I click on the red one, there's only one plant here as well. So that was that was great. But there might be several in some areas, like here in the systematic garden. Oh, there's just one here as well. So but anyway, so that's how that works. And you can also, if you want to look at this map a bit more, zoom in. You can also use labels to show them where they are. So if I go to let's say medium text, you can then see you can then make a copy of this map, for example. You can save it to share it with other people, and you can click this one to make sure that the map labels don't overlap. Now, to your question about trees that are very close together, like these two here, if I zoom out a bit, you see that these are very close together, and then I can zoom further in to see, where they are, and and I can go even further. But sometimes this is not even good enough. I know you see now it's getting really quite ugly as well with the map. That's because I'm using Google Satellite. And if you want to switch to another map, some maps have better resolution. Here we got one GIS map. That's very coarse, but you could have your own maps that are drawn that give much better, detail. Then you can zoom in much better. So that's what you need to do if you have areas that where, for example, this map isn't good enough. Then you need to look at trying to find another map that is better. You can either make it yourself, or you can then use. Well, I don't think there's many maps online that are better than Google Maps, really. So, but you have OpenStreetMap. They can sometimes be quite good. That's something you can also consider. Making a better version of OpenStreetMap. That's where everybody can go in and make changes. So there are many possibilities.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a final thing here. So for anyone who's listening to this recording as well, is that if you have, let's say, in the Palm House here, you have small, very small plants. There's no problem of creating a map that detailed every little tray in the Palm House and allow you to zoom in all the way, so you can actually put all the pots on the map if you want to, and that's technically possible. So it's just a question of how far the map can allow you to zoom in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So did you have any other questions from the training from last time?
No, so far.
Okay, great. So but thank you. That was good that you asked about that. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, here we got a Facebook page and YouTube and things like that. You can follow us there, and also the webinars that you can see recordings of or join us on first Thursday of the month. And obviously, we also will be at conferences, usually the American Public Garden Association conference, Eurogard, and VGCI. So, okay, let's get to today's training, intermediate topics. So today we're going to go repeat a bit and record another accession, but we're going to have a bit more advanced example. We're going to learn how to add or work on the taxonomy. We're going to do some manage photos, and then we're going to do a bit more mapping. And then we're going to look at label management. And at the end, we're also going to look at tasks, inspections, and trails and funding, so a collective term called events. And we're going to talk a bit about Iris Mobile and Mobile Sync at the end. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to go straight into an exercise here where we're going to record a new accession. So we got some orchids here, a Phragmopydium, a Boisserianum. So what's interesting here is that it's not only a new accession, but it's also a new taxa. So we're going to go straight into make quite a complicated or a bit more advanced example of how you record these kind of information in Iris. So let's bring Iris up. And then we're going to go in here. So this is, if I go to now to the accession screen, I'm going to go and also do full screen. So we see absolutely everything like that. And okay, we know that it's a new taxa, but very often you can, of course, go into the taxa screen and record the new taxa there. But often you will sit in the accession screen and you want to record the new taxa or record the new accession, and then you discover that there is a new taxa. So that's how we're going to do this. So you start by clearing the screen like that. It wasn't necessary this time, but I'm just repeating that so you remember. And then we go straight in here. and try to find the taxa we're going to work with. So that was the Phragmapedium. So I'm starting to type PH Phragmapedium, and I can already see that the Boisserianum isn't here. So I can't find it. So that means that I need to add it. And then what I could do then is to just click on this button here, the ellipsis button, which will open up the taxa screen so that I can work on the taxonomy. So I'll do that. And now I had accidentally selected this particular taxa, Phragmapedium Dom Wimber. I'm not going to work on that. So one thing you have to be aware of here, you don't start, if I'm not going to introduce a new taxa, I shouldn't change this one, because then I'm literally changing this one to become something else. That's not what we want to. We want to add a new one. So I'm going to clear the screen and to start a new one. And then I go straight down to the genus and find the genus. So that's Phragmapedium. I'm just typing a Phragmapedium. There we go. And then I'm going to do type in the species name. So Boisserianus. So now that's not the correct spelling, but I'm just going to start this example by doing that. So you get the point. So I can now check this name in several ways. One method you could use is the web search. Yep. Sorry.
Sorry. At the accession.
Mm-hmm.
At the accession. How to get to taxa and nomenclature?
Oh, you click on this button here, the ellipsis button on the taxon name.
Okay, ellipsis button. Okay, the 3 dots.
Ignore if you haven't selected a taxa, doesn't matter.
Okay, we're already fine.
Okay, so you're here now on the taxa nomenclature screen.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then you clear the screen to record a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you select genus Phragmapedium.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also write in the species name, which is it's a bit of a long, twisted one. It is actually Boisserianum, but I will just show you what happens if you misspell it. Let's say I just do one S. That's a more typical or common mistake. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can now check the name by using web search. So web search is a place where you can have different websites that you can use as a reference to check your names. I'm just going to do plant list now. There's on our forum that you will see that there's a list of other web search. You can configure this in definitions, other web search entries that you want to use. But this is what you can choose.
We can choose any web search that you want to.
Well, it depends a bit. The web search has to be able to, let's say, there's certain capabilities the website needs to have to make it work. But if you have a website that you think is really great, where you have a lot of plant information, you want to integrate with Iris, send us an email or look at the forum. And then we can see if we can get it in there. Depends a bit on how it's made, but let's do this, and I can show you a little bit later how we can do that. So let's say I want to do plant list now. So I'm going to click on that. It came up on a different page here. So you see here now the plant list said it didn't find the Becerradium I had, but it found the genus. And then here I can see, oh, it's a different spelling. It's Boiserianium, and so it's not the same as I had. So if I go into that, you can see here also that this is the accepted name, so that's really good. So I'm just going to click on that to get more detail, and I'm going to now just copy that name so I get the right spelling. So I'm just copy that and go back to Iris, and then I can put it in again, the correct spelling, and then I'm going to do it again just to make sure that it works. So I'm going to do the plant list once more, and then we got 4 results because they're different, but that's quite good. So that we got the accepted name, which is Rolf Varsh. Okay. So go back to Iris here. Now we know that this is an accepted name. We know the author. And then we can do one more thing. We can get more details from IPNI, the International Plant Name Index, which is available through this button here. So let's click on that. And then you see that we got several entries from IPNI. Got 3 entries, I think. Let's see. You can, yeah. And this one is the same as the plant list. So if you think the plant list is a great resource, we can then add this as our correct by double clicking on it. We then get author information and publication information. And I'm going to go down here and write that we use the plant list as name source. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing we can do here now. Since we use the plant list, we can also go to references. On the reference tab, you see here we have library references. So this is where, if you have any books that you've used to decide on this as your correct nomenclature, you can put that in here. But you can also add web references. And here I can add the last web search I did, so I don't have to. And that was the plant list, which was a success. So I'm just going to do like this. And now I have a link to the plant list here. So that makes that people will see that I've been there and checked the name. One thing further I can mention here is that the rank will decide if you have a Garden Explorer website, you can decide whether the order of these links, how they are presented online. If I don't want visitors to see this link, I can just put 10. So any rank 10 and higher will be hidden from the website. Let's say I wanted to have another. We're going to put in one more web reference. I think there might be a good article on this on the Wikipedia. Let's have a look. Oh no, it wasn't that good. But let's say it was really good, just for the sake of. Let's say this was a really nice article that I wanted to share with other people. There's a nice photo, so you could say it's not too bad. I can then add this one as well, like this, and then rank this as 1. So then when visitors go to this page on your website, it will see this link to Wikipedia. This one will be hidden. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We can just to move on. We can save this now, and then you will see that you get the taxon name here and the family name here, and then the full name with author here. So the name is constructed based on whatever you put in here. So that is according to the code of nomenclature. So that with etc. So we'll look at hybrid formulas and more complicated names later. What we could do is also to add a synonym to this. So this is the, you see the green one here is the accepted name. We can add a synonym, which we saw, I think, if we go back to the plant list here, you see here that the synonym of this one is, for example, the Cypripedium grandiflorum. So we're going to add that because well, just for the sake of example here. So you just, to add a synonym or another name, you click here, the green one. And then you see we get the synonym here where we can then start typing. So it was a Cypripedium, like that. And it was grandiflorum, like that. And here I can also check the spelling directly with internet in IPNI, or I could do web search and do all kinds of other information. I'm just going to do IPNI here, and there's no information here, so that's a bit maybe I misspelled it. So I'm just going to go back to here to see whether I did actually spell it incorrectly. I'm just going to be very lazy and copy this again just to. No, it looks like I did spell it correctly. So it isn't in IPNI. That's quite unusual. But anyway, we can, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm just going to save it like this. And then you have the synonym recorded. I can also put name source here, plant list. So I can show that I have actually looked at this. So people can see that I made a, yeah. So that's how it works with taxa. You can have one accepted name and several synonyms. We're going to work more on that later. So there are more details to record on the taxa, of course. We're not going to go into details now, but you have to look yourself at whether you want to record, for example, distribution and life form, etc., etc. We'll keep that for the time being, just to move on with the exercise. So when you're ready here now with the taxa, you can then click. Yeah, do you have a question?
I just want to confirm under information there is LSID and then there is an IPNI organization. So that one is the publication.
Yeah. This publication is the one we retrieved from IPNI. So this is the original publication. So this is when this name was introduced in 1896 by Rolf and the other person. and that's the publication when it was received. So this is a nice thing with IPNI, is that you get that kind of information from IPNI, and then you will have it here in the record.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I now select and close, that's important. That means that you want to use this taxa in your accession. So now we're back to our accession. So that's how you add new taxa. We're going to have another example of that later. Okay, so we're going to put in accession year 2016. We are we're in 2017. So, but we are backdating. We are a bit behind on our record keeping. So that's just, so if you don't put in the year, it will be put in this year. So that's just why I'm showing that. Going further down, you can of course put in more information in here by identification, but we're going to go down to locality, because this is wild collected material. It was collected in Ecuador, and we have some collection information. So we can do the same here that we did with the taxa, that we want to record a new locality. So localities are areas in the wild, and we know that this has not been entered yet, so we're going to go straight in and record this. So I'm clicking on the ellipsis button again, and then we get the locality. And here we do the same. We clear the screen. So I'm going to start here by selecting country, which is Ecuador. And then the region is Loya. And then often you get coordinates. If you're lucky enough, you get coordinates that you can type in here. So the original coordinates. So look and help if you want to. I can now sort of, if I press F1, I'm going to do that. What file? Help. Oh, help. F1 didn't work. So that's an interesting one. Okay, I can't get help up here. So that's interesting. That's a small feature that we need to fix. I'm just going to close the window and bring up the help so that we can see that usage. So modules, collections, accession, localities. So here are the accepted formats, latitude, long. So these are all listed here. So if you want to study that a bit more. So you can type in quite a number of different formats. But anyway, I'm going back again to where I was. And then go to Ecuador, Loja. And then there's no other more detail. So we don't have the coordinates, but we know more or less where it is. So if you do that, you're lucky enough. So you could then just click on the map here. And then you can drag the marker where it is in the area. So if you go in a bit, so we see here's the Loja region, and let's say it's in Zamora. I'm just making by the river here. That's where we found it. So I'm going to select that. Okay. So I'm going to put in Zamora alongside riverbed. So altitude between 800 and 900 meters. I'm just putting in some information. Just these are fictitious information. So alongside riverbed, yeah, like so. So what I'm doing this is that when I save this now, you'll see that the full description of the area, the locality will be described in textual form, which is quite nice when you run reports, etc. Okay. So here we got the coordinates and everything else. So now if I do select and close again, we get this information down into our accession. Okay. So this is, so you see the section here says locality. This is where it was collected. And then you can record specific information about the habitat of this particular plant, aspect and slope. And then we're going to record information about who actually did the collection. So this is Link Abrahams. So I'm going to start typing Link. So this list here, when you see a list in Iris which has a small recycle button at the end, these are what is called self-populating lists. So this list will show you all the collectors we've had in the past, and then give us the opportunity to add new ones straight away. So this is a new one, so I can just type the name like that. And then it will be, next time someone uses that, it will be recorded. Collection date was 2015 01, like that. So I'm just I wrote it the complete. So you need to, depending on what, now I was writing, looking at my notes. This was 1st of August 2015. So we received this via So if you have American dates, you will type it obviously the other way around with August 1st and stuff. Okay, and then going down further, we don't have more information here, but we have a supplier. So we got this from US Botanic Garden. So I'm just going to look here and see if we have that. I don't think we do, so it doesn't look like we have it. So we need to add a new contact as well. So I'm just going to then, when you want to work on the contacts, it's exactly the same as we did with the Taxa. We click here on the ellipsis button. And then I'm going to make sure it's not in the system. So I'm just going to search here for, I think it's called United States or US. I'm just going to search for U. So I'll just click in a U here and then click search. So there's nothing called United States Botanic Garden or US Botanic Garden. So that means that's a new one. So then I can clear it and then just give it US Botanic Garden like that. And then of course I can add all kinds of other information. So I'm just going to give it a code IrisBG. So these codes that you have on the contacts, they are very handy for you to look up. So it's a good idea to think a bit about how you structure these codes. There's an interesting discussion about that on the forum now. If you have lots of contacts, some gardens have thousands, and then a code structure based on, for example, could be more like this to have a more more defined name, sort of like that. Okay, we'll do it that. So US Botanic Garden, so that's in United States. I'm going to put that in as well. It's America, and that's in DC, but we'll keep it there. Okay, so now I can just bring that back into my record as we've done with the locality and the taxa. And now we have recorded a new contact. So you see now that the workflow is very similar through the system. You can sit in your accession, and if you find things are missing, you can then you can just add new things throughout, and it's very efficient. On the material side, we're going to go down here and say that we received one specimen, and it's a living, this is an important plant, so I'm recording, and received date was, let's say it was on the 10th of August 2016. Just to, okay, what we want to do here as well is, because it's we need to record provenance here, so it's a wild collected material. And the one thing further we're going to do is to put restrictions on this one. So this is a very important plant that we want to protect, or there are some restrictions on it. So we're going to look a bit more on these restrictions later, but this makes it possible for you to stop things from being shared online. It will also give you sort of a flag that you will see it, especially if you have sort of material transfer agreements or other restrictions on the material. So to make sure that you handle this material respectfully and according to this deal contract you've signed. So, but in this one, we're going to say that we're not going to share or publish, like that. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to go to references, because we got no, we go to images first. Let's add a few images. So with Iris, when you record photos or images, we did talk about that a little bit last time, I believe. you normally add photos to the accession. So this is a picture of this particular Fragmipedium in our garden or in a collection or whatever. So you can then add the image by clicking here, or you can drag the photo in here. I'm just going to quickly open a, oops, make sure I have a picture to show you. That would be a bit disappointing if I didn't. Hold on. Yeah, so what is typically normal here is to click on this one. So let's do that. And then I get, let's see, I've got some pictures here. So I'm just going to take, this is not a Fragmipedium, I'm just going to take an example. So I'm picking the image that I want. In this case, let's say this was a Fragmipedium. And then it will be loaded here. So I can see, and if I click on the screen, I get the details here. And if you have a very small screen, you might get situations where you can't see the image here. You get this kind of symbol. Then it's very hard to, then you can't click on it. So make sure you then drag, make the screen sizer, or you can drag this one up so you get the big picture. Now, the picture is by default 3 megapixel. If you want to have if I wanted to have a very much larger resolution, I need to select the resolution before I add the picture. So if I want to keep the original photo, then I can do that. So Iris will take them down to 3 megapixel by default, which makes it use much less space on your database. So the pictures are stored on the database. If you want to store high resolution pictures, you can do that, but then you have to sort of consider your data storage capabilities, etc. So there's a good our most recent webinar, we talked about this in more detail. Have a look at that if you want to look at this in more detail. So, but default is 3 megapixels, and then I can rank it as well. So if I rank this as 1, this will be the first picture that that the people will see on our website, for example. I can add another one. Let's do that. I'm just going to bring up again. So let's say this is another one. So now we see a nice photo of a group of plants, and you see, oh, this was upside down. That's not good. And now
we can add more than 1 photos.
Oh yes, you can add as many pictures as you like, actually. Yeah. And then I can rotate it here so that it comes the right shape or the right direction. And I'm going to rank this as 2. So here we've got the best picture, and then there's other information here about who took the picture and stuff like that. So, but we're not going to do that now. There's also the possibility to add web images. So pictures, if you have a digital asset management system or a web-based image management system, you can add URLs to the photos and keep a small copy in Iris. So that's also an option. Again, go to look at that video tutorial or this webinar recording to see more about that. Okay. I can save this now. Just sometimes it's I'm just going to do that. I'm not finished with the recording yet, but I just wanted to show you that sometimes if you want to go and have a cup of coffee or something, you might save it before you go back again. What you see here now is that you see we got an accession number, we got the taxon name here, and then we got, because it's wild collected, the information about the collection or locality comes up here on the top, so you know what kind of plant material you're dealing with.
Harvard, the accession number generated by the system based on the year that we key in?
Yes. So as you may remember, I put in 2016 here, If I didn't do that, then it would do 2017 automatically. And it will then give you the next available number in that year, in this case, number 2. So that's how it works. And if you have, if you have a different sort of format, maybe your garden you would like to have with the leading zeros, and let's say you wanted to have something like this, 2016.0002. You can do that that can be changed in the system under management. So yeah, if you want to look into that or want to change it to what it is default, you can do that. Okay. So we've now recorded a new taxa. We've recorded the locality. We've added a contact, US Botanic Garden, and we haven't yet recorded the plant, so we're going to do that under the items tab. So we got, actually I made a mistake. We got 2 plants. I wrote 1 down here, so that was a mistake. It's actually 2, so I'm going to go and change that to 2. And then I'm going to go back to items. So we got 2 plants that are both put in the nursery. So it's a planting. So it's in the nursery. So I'm just going to do nursery 1. So we just received it. So I'm just going to do inspected for that. And then that was in August 2016. Now I could put 2 here already. But this is a very valuable type of plant specimen here. So then you likely then want to keep track of the individual plant. So that means that you put 1 and then you add a new entry like this. And that is in the same area, so nursery 1. And I'm just going to do inspected here and then same date. And like that. You see here now, I'm selected the bottom line. So the details are here, as we talked about last time. And if I go up to this one, the details are here. So they are identical now. The reason for splitting up is also if you get plants that are likely to live very long, or not annuals, but perennials or trees and etc. And they come in young, but you want to, let's say you got 5 of them, you might want to split them up straight away because they're likely to live long and they're likely to be planted out in different parts of the garden. Then you might want to split them up as separate qualifiers or items. So when I save this now, you will see that each of these plants get a qualifier. So this is number 1 here, and this is number 2. So, yeah. The final thing we're going to do here is that we're going to get add a permit as well. We got a permit from the a material transfer agreement. So under references here, you have information about any book references. Maybe you use that to identify the plant or something. Well, that actually happens on the determination, but there might be other references you have. And then here we got permits. Excuse me. Events we'll look at later. So, but permits, I can just click add here. And then we're going to add a permit that we have received. And then here is the permit. And again, we don't have any in here. So I'm going to click in here to do the same as we've done elsewhere. We're going to add a new permit. So this was issued. Yeah, we're going to say it's yeah, Ecuador National Parks or something. I'm just making it up. So that's Ecuador. And here you can add a PDF document. So I'm not sure. I don't have. Well, let's see if I can find some. Ooh, I should plan this. Well, we're not going to do that now. You can add, if you click plus here, you can just add a file directly to, let's say I do, yeah, I'm not going to bother with that now, but you can add a PDF document or a Word document or whatever into this. And then I'm going to say here what type it is. It's a material transfer agreement, like this. And then date was in August. Save that now. I got MTA details, etc. So this is nice to keep track of all your permits, and I can select and close this, and then I save that. You will see that it comes up here, very easy to see what you got, and you can click on this to look at the permit in more detail, including the document. Okay, so any questions about this? I think we've, before I go on, I think we have completed the sort of exercise with the accession. So this is quite a big detailed accession. We have information about locality, we have taxa added, we had a new contact. And you see when you open this up now, you can see straight away that there are 2 plants, 2 images, and 1 permit, and it has restrictions. Yeah.
How about the plant description?
The description of the plant itself, you mean?
Yeah. Do we need to add it?
Yes, you need to. I mean, that is a very good question, and that would typically be something you would record on the taxa. So if I go in here now on the taxa and go to details, this is where I would write the description of this Pragmapedium. So let's say I'm just going to now be a bit cheeky because we had a bit of. I'm just going to copy this. I mean, I don't suggest you should do this, but I'm just going to copy now just to show you. So, so you could do something like this. Pragmapedium is a species of orchid occurring in the southern Ecuador to Peru. Yeah, like that. So this is where the description would be, yeah. So maybe so here
if you want to add more description, like the plants morphology or plants anything, so we can add it.
Mm-hmm. Here you can type in a lot of information in this field here. You can also, I want to say something about that. If you want to go in more detail and record, let's say if you want to morphology, maybe that's something you specialize or want to record a lot about on a lot of plants, you could consider introducing a theme. So where you have then a the type would be morphology, and you describe the morphology in detail here. So that's also an alternative. So the description is more a general one, but the themes are more for topical text. Some gardens, for example, have a lot of ethnobotanic information. They might want to then write here something about food usage and then type in text about that, etc. So that is something you have to consider, how you deal with all that information. Both of these things can also go online, so visitors can see that. So that's also quite nice. Yep. So I'm going to save this now, and then.
Okay.
One thing I want to mention on the restriction is I could set restrictions on the taxa. That means that every time we get a Pragmapedium boiserianum, all of them will have the same restriction. I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. Maybe it's for certain species that are very, endangered or something. You might want to do that, so to make sure that they're handled responsibly. Okay. Great. So to finish this exercise, we also have from this same trip from Loya, we also received a Pragmapedium fishery. So then we're going to record that accession as well. They came from the same collection trip. So what we can do here now, instead of recording all this information again, we can click on the repeat button. So what it does, it creates a new copy of the accession, and it copies information that is likely to be carried over. So it does take the contact, the type of material, etc. But for us, it was a different plant, a different taxa. So we just go in here and start recording the new name. Now here's a tip. If I want to start all over here, when you want to clear a list like this, there's a key, Control Delete. That is to clear one of these drop downs. I'm going to do that. Click Control and Delete together. Then you clear the taxon fields, and that goes for all these drop downs. And we're going to have a Fragmapedium fishery. So I'm just going to type in that Fragmapedium, and we see that that is also a new taxa. So
when we put in the taxon name, and then the list come out. Yeah. So the list shows that the specimen that already recorded, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the taxa we are looking for now. You clicked repeat to get a new accession. Did you click repeat?
Yes.
That's very important now that you clicked repeat. So you should see, very similar to what I see, no accession number is filled out yet.
There is no accession number.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Accession name.
And in the taxon name here, you have. It doesn't matter what you have. The thing is, we need to add Fragmapedium fishery. So we're going to click on the ellipsis button. And then I had accidentally then selected this Fragmapedium Don Wimber. So I will clear the screen and go into the Names tab. And then I'm going to start recording the Fragmapedium fishery. So I'm just going to type Fragmapedium. And we do fishery like that. And then I can do the same as I did last time. I can do a check to the plant list and see if that's an accepted name or not. And it is. So that's great. And the author is Bram and Moore. And then I can go back. And then I can do the IPNI. And you see here we got Bram and Moore. I'm not sure which one is the best here. That one seems to have more remarks, etc., and a later version. So I'm just going to do record 2 here. And I'm going to add again the name source as plant list. And I'm going to add the reference here to the web reference as well. So I'm going to put rank 10. And then, of course, as we discussed, you could, of course, record much more information here about label, text, description, etc. I'm not going to do that now. So I'm just going to save. And yeah, and that's it. So one thing I wanted to mention about taxonomy, which we might have time to do more later, but if you want to sort of, you're not sure if this is the accepted name, you want to look at this later, or you want to make sure you're doing it properly, so you have to do it on Monday or something, you can always use this provisional to mark that this one is needs revision. We need to make sure we have to look at it later. So that's one tip for that. Okay, so I'm just going to select this and go back. Oops, sorry, I need to save and then go back. So like that. And now we see we have Fragmapedium fishery. All the other information is the same. It's a living specimen arrived at the same time, 2 specimens. And it is also same number of specimens. Both are in the nursery. So I'm just going to add one number for each. The one thing I may need to add is the permit, because that didn't get copied over. And it's the same permit. So I can then go here and get permit available. And you will see now that this permit is from the Ecuador National Parks is available. So I'm going to select that. And then click Save. So now we're ready. So we have then 2 accessions, 4 plants recorded. And you see how this can be done rather quickly if you then have this possibility to copy data from the previous record. Okay, so any questions about this? Yeah, okay, great. Is it fun?
Yeah, quite a lot
I know I'm going into a lot of details here, but I think the good thing is that we are recording it, so you can look at it again to see the sort of the more of the details. So yeah, no, I understand that it might be a bit much to sort of digest in one operation here. So, but I'm taking the chance because it's recorded. So, okay, let's go back to. So that was recording quite a complicated story here with lots of information. Now we're going to do something completely different. We're going to go and look at tasks and item management. So the story here is that we have in our garden an exhibition of wild collected rhododendrons. And we want to do a few things about that. We want to make sure that we have good labels on them, etc., etc. So we're going to then start by prepare a task. So I'm going to go back to Iris here, and I'm going to go down to events and then tasks. So tasks or events, they are a collective term of different things like tasks, inspections, trails, funding, and exchanges. Task is a bit of an unfortunate name maybe, because it is basically a list-making feature. So you can create a list of accessions or plants or taxa, etc. And it will become clear to you, hopefully, how useful this is when we start using it now and maybe a bit later. So we're going to then first or record a list of, we call it rhododendron. So typically you would clear the screen if there was nothing in here, but there isn't. So we can rhododendron exhibit 2016 or 17, like that. Type, we have an exhibition, so we can do that. And then this is, so we're going to exhibit all our wild collected rhododendrons. So I'm going to say that it's a list of accession. It could be a list of taxa, as you can see, or a list of plants. So a list of taxa could be, for example, plants you want to purchase for the next month or year or something. Or it could be a list of taxa for other reasons. Yeah. So I'm just going to do accession. And then when you get to that stage, you get then the possibility to add all the accessions that is going to be in this task or this list. There are several ways to do that. You can start typing in, accession numbers like this. However, the most common way is to click on this ellipsis button again. And then, because we're dealing with accessions, we get the accession screen. And here you can now search for the plants you want to add to your list using the accession screen. So that's quite nice. So I'm going to do, because I'm not going to do wild collected rhododendrons, I can do it like this. I can do rhododendron, taxon name, go down to provenance, do wild. If I want to make sure I only get the living ones, it becomes a bit more complicated. Then I probably need to do advanced search. But for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to do regular search like this. And I am getting. So I realized to my yeah. Well, let's do all of these. These are all the wild collected ones. I should have actually made a because it's an exhibit. I made a mistake. I want actually to make it of items of plants and not of accessions. So I'm going to go close this and then change it to. I'm going to clear this. Can I do this? Yeah. If I delete it, I can change it back to items. So as long as you don't have anything in here, you can change it. So I'm going to do item instead. Sorry about that. Because there's no point of, we want to make sure we create an exhibit based on plants we actually have. So then I'm going to do the search again. Rhododendron, provenance, wild, and then search. And now I should have again done, I got herbarium voucher, etc. here, and a few dead ones. So what I'll do is I click on the, I can sort it by status by clicking here. So you see that you click on the column where this green flag is. And then I can then select all the ones that are, but we're not going to include the herbarium voucher. So to do this, you hold the shift key down, and then you can hold the control key to click out the one you don't want. So these are the ones we want in our list. So I'm going to select that. And I'm going to save this. So now we got our rhododendron exhibit. And we could have a start date and etc., cost estimates and so forth. We're not going to do that. The one nice thing now is that you can do is to go from the task. You can just click here to see where this is in the garden. And here I can see that these actually don't have a map coordinate. So that's something we should maybe look at. But I'm not going to do that now. But just as an example of how good this nice way to deal with this particular question of data quality when you have such a thing as an exhibit. Okay. So now we have this list. Now we want to make sure we're going to produce new nice labels. We want to make sure that these labels are really nice out in the garden. And yeah, we could have sent someone out to look at them. Let's say some of our staff now went out, used this map to inspect them to make sure they are healthy. So we're going to go then to item management. So item management is a place where you can update a number of plants in one operation, and you can produce labels. So it's a place, we call it sort of, you can move plants or dead plants, etc. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we're going to say that all those plants we did work on, they were inventoried. We've had a look at them. So the first thing you do then is you search for the plants you want to update or produce labels for. And here we can then use event name as a filter. So I can then say, give me all the plants related to the rhododendron exhibit. Like that. And then you click search. And then you see you get all your 5 plants here. And then you see there's a tab here in the middle. So one is called update plants or items, the other one called create labels. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to update that we have inventoried or inspected them. And we did that today. So I'm just going to put today's date. And yeah, I just say that Bobby botanist and so forth. And then when I do that now, all those 5 will be updated today. Say they were inspected today. And we're going to produce a label for them. So I'm going to set the label type to be extended label. So they all have now an extended label. So this is label type 1. If you have 2 labels, that's label type 1, label type 2. You have to sort of decide yourself. So if I leave these blank, if I don't, now we update all 5 of these plants. So we shouldn't obviously put them all in the same area, but everything else is correct. If I didn't want to update this one, I could uncheck that as well. So there are many options here. And you can also click here to look at the accession directly. So click update. And then it will give you a warning because it is, if you make a mistake here, it's a bit difficult to undo it if it's a large amount of plants. So I'm going to do that. And now you see they all have the same status, same date, same label type, etc. So that's a really nice way to manage a group of plants. And then we want to produce a label for these 5. So we want to do extended label. And then here there are two methods. Either you can export the data if you have a sort of a label printing software or a label printer with etc. That you can export the data and send it somewhere else if you want to do that. Or you could use a Word template and design your labels in Word. Let's say we do that here. So I'm going to click View. So, oh no, this wasn't a good label. I'm just going to do another template. Sorry about that. I'm just going to do large size, medium size. Let's see. I just want to get a Word template. That other one just didn't have a Word template. So hold on. And here we go. So here I got the labels, and you see here there's some issues with the rhododendron has 2 common names, which is a bit cramped. It takes a lot of space up, so that doesn't work good. So I need to fix that. Shall we do that? That's a bit of a jumping the training, but we'll do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to go back here. Okay, this will jump a bit in the training because we're going to go and look at taxonomic groups. So one thing we could do here, I can show you, is I'm going to open up one accession. And then it's the genera that is wrong. So I'm going to go through the screens to navigate to the genera, to the genus rhododendron by clicking on the taxa. And then here I am in the taxa. I'm going to make sure I select the accepted name. And then I'm going to go all the way in here on the genus and go straight into the rhododendron here. And it's actually the family. Here we got 2 common names, but that's the family common name that was the problem. So I'm going to go up to the family, which is Ericaceae. And then I'm just going to say we only want the heather family, and we put the heath family to the alternative common name. So this is the one that will then be on the labels. So I'm going to save that and then go back. So that was a bit of a, I know this was not part of the plan of the training, but I thought I'd show you this because we're recording it so you can look at it again. So this, now I'm dug myself deep down into the screens here to find the family of that particular record directly from the item management screen. So I'm going to, so to close these screens now, I can click the escape button. That's also a tip. So if you, instead of going up and click in the crosshair or clicking close here, you can just click escape, and then the screens will fall back down to the item management screen again. And now I can do the same again. And then hopefully, where is it? Here we go. So now it's fixed. Header family. Wow. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. There are some video tutorials on how to design plant labels with the Word. So I'm not going to go into that, but you have plenty of options on how to do that. So if your label printer can be printed from Word, that is a very efficient way to produce labels. Okay. The final thing I wanted to show you, did this, I did the common name for the family here, but the common name for the taxa, is that printed here? Yeah, Korean rhododendron is out here. That's the common name. So if you have multiple common names, let's go and have a look at this one, Mucrolatum. I'm going to go and have a quick look at that one. You see, this has one common name. If you have several, ranking is important that you manage here as well. So I'm just going to see if we got another. Is it? Yeah. Here's another one, Korean Rose Bay. I'm just going to add that one as another common name, English. But then here, if I then put this as rank 1, they will come together. But if I put it as rank 2, then we make sure that only one, this Korean rhododendron will then be the one that is used for the labels. So that's the default one. So that's important when you manage common names. Okay. I'm going to add, just for the sake of it, I'm going to add Wikipedia because it was a good article, I thought. Okay, cool. I'm going back to, so I'm jumping a lot now, but this is more, again, because we're showing you a few tricks. Okay, so the final thing we're going to do now, because it's an exhibit, is we're going to make a map here, where we go to items map. I'm going to clear, so we get all the, and then you can see now that I can go down here and say I want to filter on event, and then do rhododendron exhibit. So I can create a map of all my rhododendrons by just all these exhibits. So you see the list here can be used in all kinds of reports and sections. So I can run a report on taxa, on accessions, or all kinds of things by using this list. So it's a very, very powerful thing. So now I got the map coming up here. And you see, again, I need to give these coordinates to these plants. That's, I'm not going to do that now. And what I can finally do, if I put a permanent number here, I can then save this map and data. Then it will produce a picture like we see here, and then a spreadsheet with all the details about the different plants. So that's a nice way to, if you want to send it somewhere else. However, if you had this exhibit, you would more likely go down and create a trail or a tour of those plants and then publish that online. That, of course, is even more sophisticated. So we, because of time constraint, we're not going to do that now, but that's definitely an extra exercise for you. Okay, let's go to the next exercise. If there are any questions about what we've gone through now?
Okay, before that, just now you're talking about the common name, like Korean Rosebay.
Yep.
So, so you get the common name in the plant list, right? Yeah.
Well, now I was very quick. I just went into Wikipedia to look what, and I saw that Wikipedia. So
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's say if we want to add any common name like Malaysian common name or Indian common names.
Yeah.
So how are we going to add it?
Okay, good question. So let's say I want to manage common names. I could go to the taxa here. And I want to make sure that we have good common names on those taxa that we have in this exhibit. That's a very good one. I'm just going to do advanced search. And then I'm going to say, give me all the taxa which are part of the rhododendron exhibit. And then I'm going to do that doesn't have a common name. That's rather cool. So we're going to make sure we have a good common name for all of them. So we're going to bring that up. And we didn't find anything, so I'm just going to bring it. That was not a good example. So I'm just going to take them all. So here is the muculatum and the tomatosum. So let's say we want to add, here's a Norwegian common name. We want to add Indian and Malaysian common name to this. You see here, we don't have, we only have English, Norwegian, medicinal, Mandarin, Pinyin. So I need to have more common name types here. That's the first thing. All these drop-down lists, they're managed down here under definitions. This is a topic for the next session, but I'm going to show you a bit now already since you tasked. So all down here under definitions, the common name types, they're found under code lists. Here you got a lot of those drop-downs grouped together, and here we got common name type. So I'm going to add this by clicking plus and then just saying Indian. Oops, sorry. Indian, like that. And then MA, or I'm not sure what the correct one is here. Like that. Okay. So now I've added those two. And then going back to my list, then I can add the Indian common name, for example. Now I have no idea what that is. Let's see if Wikipedia can help us. Well, we're doing, yeah, you get the point. We can do an English one instead, just, but the principle will be the same. So, yeah. So rank this as one. So you rank them individually within each.
Just now disconnected, isn't it?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Well, I've recorded what I explained, so you can see that recording again. Then, so basically, what I did was I went down to code list here.
Under definition.
Under definition, code lists, and then I added. Under common name type here, I added Malaysian and Indian to my list of common name types.
So we need to edit here in code list first before we put in before we add. Okay.
And what's important here is that if you want to have Malaysian as your primary common name, you would also click Malaysian here as default common name. That means that when you print out common names, there's one field called default common name that will then pick the Malaysian one. I'm going to English here, but that's how that works. And then when I go back here to now in the taxa record here, I can add a new one. Let's say we do Malaysian. Yeah. I have no idea what that would be in Malaysian, but
in the code list, how do we add on for the Malaysian?
Oh, yeah.
After we get into code list and then common name type.
Yeah, you plate the marker here, and then you see that's what you can then click the green button.
Okay, green button to add.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, after we click on the green button, common name type.
Then you give it a code, sort of I did just MY for Malaysian, but I'm not sure. There might be some good country codes to use, and then you click save in the top corner. Yeah.
In the trial here.
Yeah.
After we click add buttons, the green buttons, and then the common name type, and then the value appear not at the common name type. It is slightly different from your screen.
Oh, I see. But can you still fill in the value and the name?
Value.
Red button. Okay. Common name. Malaysia.
MY.
Name Malaysia. Malaysia. Okay.
Then we set as default.
Yeah. If you want to, in your garden, to have that as your default common name language, yes, that's what you do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then you click save in the top corner.
So it will appear in the Taxon.
Yeah. So if you now go back to the Taxon screen.
Taxon. Okay.
Yeah, you should then be able to add a new common name by clicking the green button.
It's not. No. Just now we typed Malaysia, but it's not appeared in the box. Name.
So the type, did you click a green plus button on the comment? Are you now in the Taxon screen?
Oh, yes. Yeah, Taxon screen.
Yeah, and then have you added a new comment?
I tried to find Malaysia, but I couldn't find it.
Okay. I think. Well, so when you click on the list here, what kind of values do you get in the common name type in the type list? What do you have there as options then?
English, Norwegian, medicinal,
Mandarin, and Pinyin.
So Malaysia didn't get in there. Did you? Maybe for the sake of exercise, we could do this again later. Should we do that so we can finish today, and then we make sure we can repeat that on because we have this as a topic later on in the next session. Should we do that?
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you could see the recording. I mean, I know you dropped off. That was probably part of the problem. But if you see the recording, you could see how I did it, and then try that as well on your own. Let's do that because we're running a bit out of time as well. Okay. Great. Let's move on. So the other exercise that I had planned for us, but I think we've run out of time, but you could try it yourself, is to create a new task with all evergreen and deciduous shrubs, and then and repeat that task. So you can, as with accessions, you can. So if you have a job that you do every year, for example, so you can create a list of plants in the garden that you're going to prune every spring or autumn or something, and then you can then use the repeat function to prepare it for next time as well. So I'm not going to do that now because we are a bit short of time. So we'll go to the next thing here, and the same goes for inspections. What we might do is see if we can do that. Now we'll do that now because we have we're going to drop that last topic, and we're not going to include that in today's training. So let's go straight to the final thing here, which is going to create an inspection of all the betulas. So we're going down to events, and then we're going to inspections. Oh, I'm going to save I didn't save it, so I'm going to save it first, and then to inspections. So inspections are in a similar way. You just create a list of the plants you want to inspect. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to clear it, even though that's not necessary. Inspections of betulas. Then here I'm going to add them. So here I could type in the number if I had it. You can also copy in, if you had a list of them, you could paste in lists from a spreadsheet, and they all be added automatically that way. But I'm going to go in here and then search for betula. And again, here I got some dead ones, etc. But I'm going to then make sure I pick. This one is in the seed store, so so it's not very interesting to inspect. Naturally you could have searched for everything that was older than 5 years old or something, etc. But we're just going to make it a bit simple for the exercise. And then I'm going to select them. And then you see, then you got a list here, and here you got the details about this inspection, damage, measurements, work needed, etc. So you can then fill an individual. This can also be updated on the handheld, so that you can be out in the garden completing the inspections. You can also use data import, so you can prepare a spreadsheet template where you then import the data about the inspection back into the Iris. So I'm going to save that and then leave it open. And as for with tasks, you can click here to see where these trees are. And you can even have a route, so which order you need to go to visit them. That was not a very exciting route, but you get the point. Yeah. Okay. So the tasks are the trails and funding is a very similar basis. You basically tell them what to do, and then you build a list of we might have a bit more time to look at the trails later on. What we will skip, because we run out of time, we'll see if we can fit that in next time, is to talk about the Iris Mobile and the Mobile Sync. So I'm just going to show you the slide here quickly. So this is just the screens of this, how it works, but we'll do that next time. We'll skip that altogether. So just to reiterate what we've done today, I'm going to go back to the introduction here. So what we did was we recorded quite a complicated accession with wild collected material. We added a new taxa, several new taxas. We added images. We did mapping of locality. We also then produced labels from item management, and we also updated a group of plants in item management. And we did some light work with tasks where we created a list of plants belonging to an exhibit. And then we used that list to search for certain things. And finally, we also then created an inspection just to show you that as an example as well. We didn't have time to do the mobile sync thing. We'll try to fit that in next session. And before we finish, do you have any further questions?
No questions so far. I think we're going to look back into the video recording later.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording, and then we can